The Florida Gators are set to have their first spring under John Sumrall. Florida Gators fans, let's get into it. What do you expect?
You are Locked On Gators, your daily podcast on the Florida Gators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Locked On Gators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day. Every day we are available daily and free wherever you listen to the podcast and on YouTube. As always, I am Brandon Olsen, your host of Locked On Gators. If you are part of the Locked On Gators Insider program, you got a text from what was, I think the tweet that I sent was from Pitching Ninja. I think that's what it was. I think it was Pitching Ninja. I forgot, I don't even remember. It was someone's palm curveball that I was like, oh, that's such a sick pitch. I copied it, thought I was sending the link to the subtext program, and it was not the link. So that is what I sent to the Locked On Gators Insider program, which if you want to join the Locked On Gators Insider program, just go ahead and go to joinsubtext.com/LockedOnGators. I will post it in the link here if you want. And yes, we are live again, simply because we just do that, right? We just do that. We've got another show for you today. We're going to have another bonus show later on. We're going to talk about Hezzy Kent, Florida Gators 2026 tight end commit. That is 6'6", 300 pounds, and just a massive human being. And I can't wait to see what that's going to be like. But yeah, no, we're live for this one. We're going to go for probably 30 minutes, just talk about this because the Florida Gators do have their first spring under John Sumrall. And we've heard a lot about what they've done in terms of, you need to earn the logo and you need to earn this. And they're in the weight room doing all these things that are awesome, right? Simon, I'm fascinated by what Hezzy Kent's going to bring to the table. I really am. I will say, when we're going to talk about it later, but Hezzy Kent is just, it's so fascinating to me because he's 6'6", he's 320 pounds. You watch him as a receiver and he is creating big plays and he's breaking tackles and he's doing these cool things. And he's got soft hands, right? But you watch him as a blocker and it's like, all right, like you could block people too. Like you're a big dude. You could be an elite offensive tackle if you focused on it, but also you could be a real mismatch as a tight end if things do work out. He's a unicorn in the way we've never seen, right? And people will compare him to Darnell Washington from Georgia with the Pittsburgh Steelers, but like even then they're different because Darnell Washington was a much different build from Hezzy Kent, and so I think that's just a really fascinating thing to see there. Like, I can't wait to watch what that's going to look like. I think Hezzy Kent is a dude, but I'm also just, again, really interested to see what that's going to look like. But going into the first spring under John Sumrall, we're hearing about the weight room stuff, which frankly, I don't talk about much because I don't care if what we're hearing is, oh, everyone's such a good athlete. They're all so strong. I don't care about that. I love watching Rusty Witt on Instagram. Like Rusty Witt, strength conditioning coach, is always posting clips of guys lifting, and like you get to see some of them are just this light work to them. Like some guys are just going out there, they're doing whatever lift they got to do, and it's just like, all right, cool, done, easy, light work. What's next? Like there's some guys like that, and they're just lunatics, and I love it. And there's some guys like Jason Sandamella had his lift, and he went nuts, and Aaron Philo and Tramell Jones were in there, and you kind of like you see everybody around, and it's awesome to watch who takes a leadership role in the weight room. It's awesome to watch what these guys look like. I mean, like Emmanuel Oyabadejo, my British brethren out here. He is just, I know they said he's got less than 10% body fat. The dude looks like he's chiseled out of stone. It is nuts to watch his build. Insanely long arms. I think he could tie his shoes without even leaning over a little bit. Like it's crazy to watch guys with that kind of build and that kind of size and just seeing what they do. And I'm really interested to see how Emmanuel Abadejo fits in with this defense. Because I think he's going to be just a menace, right? I think he's a great 4-eye. I think he's going to open things up for you. But you've also got I'm going to say it the only way that I know how to say it to truly emphasize how much competition I'm expecting in this spring, where you have a metric F ton of competition available for the Florida Gators. You do. You got Aaron Philo versus Tramell Jones, which we've talked about extensively to this point, right? And it's going to be something that we continue discussing because it's something that does matter, right? It's quarterback. It's the most important position in football. It's the most important position in sports. And like every time I say that, there's someone in the comments that usually disagrees with me, but I don't think you can disagree with me there. There is no singular position that matters more. There's players that matter more, sure. LeBron matters more, SGA matters more, Wemby matters more, sure. Like there's players that matter more, but there is not a single position that matters more than quarterback one. Baseball, there's no one position where you go, oh, if you got a guy there, then you're good. It's not. I'm a Mets fan. I've seen a starting pitcher be the most dominant starting pitcher I've ever seen in my life in Jacob deGrom. And the team still sucked. Like, dude was winning Cy Young with a losing record because he just had no run support. Like, it's crazy. But there's no position that matters more than quarterback. And getting this battle right, that matters a lot. At running back, you've just got depth battles going on where you've got so much talent in the running back room. And I'm not meaning like just speed, athleticism. I just mean pure talent, just hoopers there. The guy in curling with the broom, maybe, fine. I will maybe give you that. The guy in curling with the broom might matter more. But even then, like, if you're not getting the right push, especially if it's a late push, maybe not. Right? Just saying that. So you got all that. Jacob equals my hometown boy. Good man. deGrom. Yeah, he's look, I've not seen many great things in my life as a Mets fan. I would die for Jacob deGrom. But running back, you've just got so much talent throughout. Like, truly, you got Jaden Ball, of course, is running back one. He's going to stay running back one, of course. That like no one's going to challenge or question that. But then everywhere else, running back 2 through running back 5 is going to be wide open. You've got Duke Clark is back. He's got great size, great athleticism. Struggled with drops last year. I don't think he was necessarily. I'm going to say this knowing that someone's probably going to throw something at my head for saying this. I don't think he was an amazing runner last year. But I also recognize that he was behind a not great offensive line. And so it's tough for me to gauge that, right? Behind the not great offensive line when defenses were kind of just like, all right, we're going to hammer the run and make you beat us throwing the football at DJ Lagway, and you're not going to be able to do that. So I don't think he was great. I do think he was pretty damn good for a freshman. I'm interested to know what it looks like when things slow down for him even more. I think he's got a ton of potential out there. And honestly, I'm hoping that if Duke Clark doesn't win the running back battle, that he stays in Gainesville. Like, I don't want this to be a thing where it's like, oh, like Duke Clark loses the running back battle and transfers out. He's someone that I want on the team long term. So I'm hoping he stays. Evan Pryor is, I know there's people that talk about Duke Clark maybe being the fastest running back on the team. I'll be stunned by that. Like, Evan Pryor is fast. Capital F, capital A, capital S, capital T. Fast. London Montgomery is a hell of a back coming over from East Carolina. Multiple years of eligibility too. I feel like he should be a top 3 running back on this team. Like in the rotation. There's so much talent there. Byron Lewis is someone that we haven't even begun to crack the surface of, right? We haven't even begun to scratch the surface. I don't know where crack, but like haven't even begun to scratch the surface with. But like you watch his high school film and he's so dynamic. And he's got such good vision. Like, I want to see him behind a good line. I want to see him get out going behind him. Tight ends just everywhere. Like, it's what's the movie? Everything Everywhere All at Once. That's the tight end room. We got no idea what the hell that's going to look like. Luke Harpring's coming over from Georgia Tech, and I think a lot of people go, oh, Luke Harpring is coming from Georgia Tech. He's been in the offense. He's tight end 1. Luke Harpring was tight end 4 at Georgia Tech. Lakota Dippery, coming over from James Madison, has been a tight end for what, a year? Micah Jones was here last year. What up, Louie? How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Micah Jones was here last year. Good blocker, great. I loved his high school film. I thought he was a great blocker in his film from Mississippi. But I don't know what you're going to be here. I think you're a really good fit for the offense. I do. I don't know if that's going to be this year. And of course, the guy that I think we have to mention, we already spoke about Hezzy, but the guy that I think we have to mention when we talk about the tight end room for the Florida Gators, Amir Jackson. Amir Jackson is someone that in high school from Portal, Georgia, was basically playing wide receiver. I say basically, but like outright, he was playing wide receiver. You look at his high school film, he's running end arounds, he's catching screen passes, like he's playing receiver. And you have that at tight end now in year 3 with an SEC strength conditioning program. It's going to be fascinating to watch. We haven't even spoken about the offensive line yet, or the defense. We're going to talk about them. Then we're going to get back to just spending the rest of the show talking about position battles, what to expect, what you want to see. I would love to hear position battles you guys want to talk about. I'd love to hear how you guys feel about some of them. I will also say this, like I know that there's 3 people really in the chat right now. Simon, we'll talk about that. I know there's really 3 people in the chat right now, and Simon, Stone, and I'm trying not to say names. Simon, Stone, and I'm gonna say TD. But I love like the community that's been built here lately. I feel like it's really popped off, and I love that. We're going to talk more about the Florida Gators when we get back with Locked On Gators.
I'm Clea Butler, host of Locked On Women's Basketball, and this is Mazda's Women's Basketball Snapshot, celebrating the work no highlight reel can ever capture. It was a heavyweight showdown between number 3 South Carolina and number 7 LSU, and the Gamecocks rose to the occasion. South Carolina secured a hard-fought 79-72 victory to stay atop the SEC standings, using a balanced offensive attack to outlast the Tigers. Tessa Johnson led the way with 21 points, while Raven Johnson added 19. Medina Okot dominated the paint with a double-double, finishing with 12 points and 17 rebounds, while Joyce Edwards chipped in 10 points to round out the scoring. With the statement win, the Gamecocks now turn their attention to a road matchup at number 23 Alabama on Thursday. These moments are earned off the clock, those long before the lights ever come on. The sweat, the fakes, the doubt, the scrapes, and coming back for more every time. Mazda puts that same drive into every detail. Wins define the moment, putting in the work, that defines you. There's more to a Mazda because there's more to you.
If you've ever wanted to experience the NBA Finals live and in person, FanDuel just might give you the opportunity to do that. They have your chance to turn your dreams into a reality there with their NBA sweepstakes. So here's how it works. Use your profit boost on any NBA future, and you'll automatically be entered for a shot to an NBA Finals trip for 2. Flights, tickets, whole shebang. FanDuel.com to get started. Use your profit boost on an NBA future and get entered for your chance to win a trip to the NBA Finals. Play your game as FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. And I'm going to let you guys know it's tax season. It doesn't have to kick your ass the way it does for me, right? This year, TurboTax is making it easier than ever to just hand things off. Move on with your day. Don't spend hours figuring out your forms like this guy has to. It's really fun. I'll tell you this much. I will pull the curtain back a little bit. Working in sports media, absolute pain in the ass during tax season. For a limited time, you can have your taxes done by a local TurboTax expert for just $150 all in. If a TurboTax expert didn't file for you last year, just file by February 28th. Take taxes off your plate and get back to your life. Visit TurboTax.com/local to book your appointment today. Thanks again for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day every day. We are available daily and free from the podcast and on YouTube. And we're going to go up to what Simon said. Edit. Simon says, what does Amir have to do to improve his game? It's tough for me to say what Amir Jackson has to do to improve his game because he's someone that we have seen so little of throughout his career. Right? He's not played much throughout his career at all. He played 137 snaps last year, or 139 snaps last year. 139 snaps last year. That's nothing. What did he do as a pass catcher? He was thrown the ball 7 times, caught it 3 times, 29 yards and a touchdown. Has 1 yard after catch. It's tough to say what he has to do, right? He didn't have a ton of blocking film last year either. And I think he's a better blocker than he was, or sorry, I was going to say, I think he's a better blocker than he was in high school. I know he's a better blocker than he was in high school. He's obviously gotten a lot better there. I just bit my tongue, but he's obviously gotten a lot better there. I think last year, the very, very, very limited reps we saw were pretty decent. I've said this story before. Like, I spoke to someone who was on the previous coaching staff, and they were just like, dude, he was your best tight end. Why he didn't play, I don't know, but he's your best tight end. Like, it's nuts to me. I don't know why he didn't play. I don't know what he has to improve on because I'm not there watching him. Right. But I will say that for Amir Jackson, like, blocking was improved from high school. Still wasn't great. Okay. And I don't think that's, wrong to say. Blocking was improved from high school. Still wasn't great. I like that he was used in the backfield a little bit last year. I'd expect to see that with Buster Faulkner as well. You watch Georgia Tech, they're lining up tight ends in the backfield and letting them run out and attack that way. Because like with I think I'm gonna nerd out for a second here, if that's cool with you guys. I think I'm gonna get the whiteboard out, which I realize every time I turn my head kind of makes listening to me a little bit harder. But it's fine, right? We're gonna nerd out a little bit. I got the markers right there. And so we'll nerd out for a second here. We got a live show, right? We don't have a timer. No one has me. We don't have any more lives or any more ads, which I know a lot of people hate. That's fine. Is what it is, right? But we're going to nerd out here and talk about what we got on the board. For the listeners, I apologize. You're going to be isolated for a minute, but not too much. You got the center. I already just screwed that up. But I think that with Buster Faulkner, he gives you an interesting opportunity to have guys that you can attack with, and he's going to use them in much better ways. Where we'll put the QB here. We're going to be in the gun, and we're going to have, I'm going to put an A for Amir Jackson so that you see like that's Amir Jackson here, right? That's Amir Jackson behind the guard because that's where he's going to be in the fullback spot. And it gives you the option of, I'm going to use a different color for this, but it gives you the option to kind of move him around and makes it difficult. We're going to use dotted lines to indicate pre-snap movement. That's what we're going to do. And putting Amir Jackson with his athletic ability back there does make him very difficult to defend. It makes him really easy to hide, right? Because you can have linebackers in coverage on him. You can have safeties in coverage on him, and they got to track him wherever he's going, okay? And even after the catch or even after the motion, he can go in any direction that you want. Because he can go back and catch a screen. He can go to the flat. He can go vertical. He can go inside. He can go underneath like a drag route. And you're going to see now, if you're watching this, you're going to see there's a whole bunch of lines to basically say he can do whatever the hell he wants. He can do whatever the hell you want him to do. And it's really tough to defend because if he lines up right at that A and he goes in motion there, he can go either direction. He can go motion there either direction. And that's what Buster Faulkner's trying to do, is just muddy everything up. He's just trying to make you hate your life as a defensive coordinator. He's just trying to make you hate your life as, what's up, Pukan? He's just trying to make you hate your life as a defensive coordinator. He's trying to make you hate your life as a linebacker and create conflict at every possible level that he can. That's how you can use Amir Jackson and just attack everywhere. That's it. Like, that's what Buster Faulkner can do. You watch Georgia Tech, he does that. He moves tight ends all throughout the formation and attacks in different ways. Okay? Like, it's stuff like that that just makes him so difficult to defend, where you're kind of hiding him, right? You put him across motion behind this offensive line, and if I'm a linebacker, I got to see over the offensive line or through the offensive line and try to track him while still sticking with my discipline of what I have against the run, still sticking with what I have to do in coverage, still sticking with all that. And that's why when we had Brooks Austin here the other day, he talked about playing scatterman, right? And what they were talking about is playing scatterman is that everybody bunches up and condenses, and then they scatter and they spread out. And you got to try to say, hey, like, this is who I have, this is who I have. And then once they get snapped and once they get the ball situated and they're ready to snap the ball, then they go, you know what, we're going to send more motion. And you got to stick through that. It makes it hell to defend. That's what makes Buster Faulkner such a good offensive coordinator. That's it. And that's what makes him such a good offensive coordinator with the adaptability too, is When you see like Georgia Tech, you'll see Jamal Haynes, running back, lined up as a wing back, as like right behind the line of scrimmage, like a tight end, basically. Like if you want to see a visualization of where he'd be, and you got him running reverses and running routes out of it. It's just hiding everybody and making you think as a defense. And that's what makes defense so damn hard in modern football, is that they're constantly making you think, and you got to go, I'm 18 years old. I'm 19 years old. And I got to know what the hell this 43-year-old guy, this 43-year-old savant psycho is drawing up. It's tough. That's what makes Lane Kiffin's offense so tough too, is that Lane Kiffin, he'll use the RPO to make sure that you got a linebacker as a conflict defender, or a safety, or a nickel as a conflict defender. And it is so tough when you're 18 and 19. That's one of the reasons that I personally am like, you know what? If you don't want to play freshman linebackers, I get it. Because offensive coordinators now, they're trying to attack you, and they're trying to just destroy you there. That's it. It's really, really tough. That's why I love Buster Faulkner. Like that's what I love about it, right? And look, I could be a nerd. I can nerd out. We can nerd out. We can have some damn good fun, right? Like we got TD saying, make you hate your life. That's what a nerd who is a generational hater sounds like. That's what it is, right? That's what Buster Faulkner is trying to make you do, is just make you hate your life. It's tough. It's really complex. And you're 18 years old and 19 years old, and you're essentially getting bullied by the offensive coordinator out there. Like that's really what it is. And like it sucks to say, but it's the truth, right? And Q, I saw your question about secondary. We're going to talk about the offensive line first, because apparently we're going to offense first. Offense, you got competition everywhere. You're going to have at least 3 new starters, because you've got Fletcher Westphal is gone. Austin Barber's gone. Fletcher Westphal going to compete for that spot. You've got Jake Slaughter gone at center. You've got Damian George gone at right guard. You've got Najee Harris back at left guard. And you've got Caden Jones back at right tackle. And all of those spots should be up for grabs, plain and simple. I like Najee Harris. I like Rod Kearney. I like all the guys that have come in and been developmental pieces, which is one of the reasons that I was like, you know what? I get people being mad that you're not bringing in these big 5-star names, but I do think that Rob Sale and co. brought in linemen that can be developed and worked with. I do. I just think they weren't good enough at developing them. That was always my thing. You can go back to 2023's recruiting class, and I'm saying, you know, you're bringing in these guys that aren't high ranked, and you're saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to bank on my ability to develop him. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bank on my ability to develop him. And that's great. Like, I love that confidence. I really do. But you have to also recognize that if you don't win enough games, you're not going to be there to develop them. And 2, if they don't develop the way that you want them to develop, you're going to get fired. Both those things happened, right? Like, you didn't develop them long enough while you were here, or well enough while you were here. Think about it. The best guys that were on this offensive line were still Mullen guys. Your 2 NFL draft picks after year 4 of Billy Napier, they're going to be Mullen guys. That's insane. But that's the truth. You weren't good enough at developing your guys. And that was a fatal flaw of the Billy Napier tenure, was bringing in guys and coaches that's like, hey, we're going to bring in guys that might not be the highest ranked guys. We're going to save money there, but we're going to develop them and get them right. And then you brought in guys that couldn't develop them properly. And then you got your ass kicked by USF at home. And then you got your ass kicked by Miami. And then you got your ass kicked by LSU. And then you got your ass kicked by everybody. That's what it was. You beat Mississippi State because their quarterback threw a pick to your nose tackle. That's what it was. Like, it was a complete failure there. Now you have Phil Trautwein with those same guys that can be developed but weren't developed properly. And Phil Trautwein couldn't sort things out. You're going to have a bunch of competition at tackle. I think TJ Shanahan's going to be your starting right guard. I liked his film at Penn State. I think he's going to be your starting right guard. I think Harrison Moore is going to start at either center or left guard. And I think that my opinion on the offensive line has always been the same, and it's going to be the same until further notice. It's about having the best 5-man unit. It's not about saying, hey, who's our best center? Who's our best guard? Who's our best tackle? Put them out there. It's saying what unit is best for us. What unit is capable of working in pass protection together where we need to communicate and pass guys off? What unit is capable of run blocking as a unit and creating lanes for us? And what's that look like? Okay. I've never been shy about that. I'm a New York Giants fan. I know it's been really rough for us, but when I was watching my team win Super Bowls, they've got an awesome offensive line unit. It's not about the individuals. You watch the playoffs this year in the NFL, and it's about units. You watch Indiana win the national championship this year, and it's about their units working together. Indiana didn't have the better offensive linemen against Miami in the national championship, right? Miami had a potential top 10 pick in Francis Mauigoa. They got multiple guys who are going to get drafted, right? Like Inez Cooper's going to get drafted. I don't think anybody cares about the Senior Bowl clip of him getting mowed down. He was out there competing 8 days after winning a national championship. Like, he's going to get praised for even being out there competing. They don't care that you lost your rep. You just played 16, 15 games. Like, you just went off. Good job. I don't care about that. Miami had the better offensive line men. Indiana had the better offensive line. I care about the unit. So frankly, I might say, like, yeah, like, I like Caden Jones at right tackle. I do. I think he's got potential. I like Fletcher Westphal at left tackle. I think he's got potential. I wasn't a big fan of Egan Boyer's film at Penn State, but, Phil Troutwine's had 2 years with him. I watched 2 games. And Emeka Ugorji, rough freshman year at Stanford. But I also acknowledge that he was a freshman, true freshman, starting at the Power 4 level. If you're not getting your ass kicked, then I'd be stunned. This offensive line, I just have faith in Phil Troutwine getting them ready and getting them right. The battles are the battles. Get me a unit. That's all I care about on the O-line. Get me a unit. If Najee, who started last year, or if Caden Jones, who started last year, are not starter quality for you anymore, then they're not starter quality for you anymore. If your offensive line is a unit, like let's say Harrison Moore is better at center than he is at left guard, but as a unit, you're better with Jason Zandamela at center and Harrison Moore at left guard, then do that. I don't care. Get me the unit that wins. That's all I care about. That's all this coaching staff cares about. They're very open about it. That's all I want to see. Okay? And for Florida, you've got defensive line battles as well. You've got defensive battles all throughout. Like Q asked earlier, where was it? Interested in the secondary competition. Who do you think that lineup will consist of? I think that your starting safeties at the end of the day are going to be DJ Coleman from Baylor and Bryce Thornton, who obviously was here last year. I don't think that's much of a question either. Personally, I would say DJ Coleman should be starting in the nickel because I think he's just a dude out there. But I think he's really good at safety too. I just think he's better at nickel, and I put more value in nickel now. We did the show on it. What was it? This Monday? That nickel should be viewed as a premium position in football now. You got to be able to defend the run, cover, and rush the passer and do everything. And so I think DJ Coleman would be awesome there. Whoever it is, right? Could be Kanye Clark. I like Kanye Clark's film at corner better than nickel, but could be Kanye Clark. Could be Lagonza Hayward. I'd like to see Stubbs try it. I think he could just pop down there. So I'd like to see him try it. Coverage will be my concern. But again, it's about finding guys that fit it. Corner can be real interesting, right? Cormani is someone that I think a lot of people like. Jafari Flowers really popped as a freshman last year. You got Dijon Johnson back for 2026. Are you going to get anything from Onis Konanbani? You've got Ben Hanks back as well. Like, replacing Devin Moore is going to suck just because Devin Moore was really good when he was healthy, and he was finally healthy for most of 2025. That's it. I see like Benjamin Solak with ESPN tweeting about Devin Moore, and it's just like, dude, if he was healthy, if he was healthy throughout his whole career, he'd have been in the NFL 2 years ago. And that's the thing that I do hate to see, because like that's going to matter when it comes draft time, is that they're going to say your health, your age, how do you compare to the rest of the class? And Devin Moore is not going to look great in either of those. But then you cut the film on, and it's like, oh, he's actually really freaking good. So we're going to see with that. What's your opinion on John Sumrall's comments about guys complaining when they're all getting paid now? Oh, I think it's good. I think it's good that he's like, I don't care, dude. You get paid. I made it clear. I used to not heavily critique a lot of players. I used to just say, hey, if I don't like what you're doing, I just won't talk about you. Like, I'm trying to stay positive, right? But once NIL became a thing, my stance shifted to, you are making more money than me while you're younger than me. I'm gonna critique your play. Like you're a pro now. You're making money. You're making good money to play football. I'm gonna critique you now because I think you deserve it. You're a pro. You're no longer a student athlete that's doing this for his tuition and his education and just a food card or whatever resources they had, and maybe getting paid under the table sometimes, right? Like, this is, you're all getting paid good money to go out there and compete and win and play football. And if I don't think that you're playing good enough football, I'm going to critique it. And I think that's fair. I don't think that's wrong at all. I think that you should be critiqued because you're getting paid like it. Simple as that. I think one of the most interesting battles, by the way, for this defense is field side end, right? It's going to be Cameron James and Emmanuel Oyebadejo are going to be your main two. And honestly, I don't care who wins it because I think they're both going to play a good bit. But I also did want to I'm going to just erase this whole, I said delete, virtual kid, you know how it is. But I do want to just talk about what that field side end role is hopefully going to look like for Florida, where we're going to pull the whiteboard out for another little bit. But actually, I'm going to widen that out a little bit. We're going to zoom in on the line here, right? We don't care about linebackers. We don't care about tight ends. We don't care about that. So we're going to zoom in a little bit where you got, that's it. That's all I'm putting. We're just going to zoom in there. You're going to see that I just drew big ass, like the offensive line again. And then now I'm going to put a little F right there. That's all you're getting. That's how we're doing it. We're like that. If you're a John Mulaney fan, you got the John Mulaney big ass A, all that stuff. That's what we got, right? You got your tackle, your guard, your center, your tackle. And then you've got right here, you've got your F. Your F here is the field side end. That's what the F stands for. And where he's lined up there, right on the inside shoulder of the tackle, that's called a 4-eye. Okay. And a 4-eye, if you're playing 4, you're head up on the tackle. A 4-eye, you're on the inside shoulder of the tackle. That is, if you watched Jacksonville State at all with Emmanuel Oyebadejo, that's where he spent most of his time. That was the position he played more than anything else, that 4-eye. You got to be able to do a lot from the 4-eye. It's a very complex position. It's more valuable than I think a lot of people know. And it's usually going to be the side that's considered the strong side. It's usually the side that, and I say strong side, where defenses will play field side, boundary side, as opposed to, what's the strong side, what's the weak side, where it's like whatever side the tight end's on. There's defenses that will play field side, boundary side. And I expect Florida to be that kind of defense that plays field side, boundary side. And so Emmanuel Oyebadejo, Cameron James, whoever is at that F spot is going to usually be opposite of the Jack, Jaden Woods. So you're essentially the end on that one. You're the edge guy. You're going to have to handle the tackle in run blocking. You're going to have to be able to rush from inside and out. You're going to have to do a lot. Okay? It's really difficult to play. Emmanuel Oyebadejo basically played it at Jacksonville State. Cameron James played it. Right? They both played it. They both know how to do it. That is a spot where I'm like, first off, I don't care who wins it. I think they're both really good football players. I think they're both going to be really good football players. But that's also a spot where I say, you know what? Whoever wins. They're both going to play a lot. It's really complex. It's really difficult. It's really tough. And playing that F spot, not easy. It's a valuable spot. You got to be able to hang and bang on your own. Defend the run, rush the passer. You can't be this one-sided guy like a lot of jacks are. I don't think Jaden Woods is a one-sided jack, but there are a lot of jacks who it's like, all right, my job is to just be athletic as hell. You don't got to worry about that with your current F, the way it's set up in this defense. Personally, I think Cameron James is probably going to have the leg up just because I think Cameron James' film has been awesome every time he's been on the field. think he was your better F last year, better than Tyreek Sapp. No problem saying that. I'm someone that has critiqued Tyreek Sapp a lot throughout his career, right? So I think that Cameron James was your better F, even though he wasn't playing. Manuel Badejo, you're both going to play a lot. Both going to wreak havoc. Both going to be important parts of this defense. And being able to be able there and operate, that's huge. Thanks for being Locked On Gators, your first listen of the day, every day. We are available daily and free wherever the podcast and on YouTube. We're going to go live again sometime. Like I said, I'm going to try to go live twice per week during the week now. So maybe we'll do like Tuesdays, Thursdays, something like that. We'll have the whiteboard out. We're going to nerd out. We're going to have a damn good time. We're going to keep teaching you, keep being great. Florida Gators, hopefully going to also be great. For Locked On Gators, I'm Brandon Olsen. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at WNS_Brandon. Find all my written work with New York Giants on SI and swampsignal.substack.com. And I'll see you all next time.